Hello, class. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Assalamu alaikum. It depends on from where you are joining the program. Welcome to Big Bang Data Science Solution, Data Science for Good or Ramadan program. And welcome to week 3, session number 2. So in week 1, we talked about the importance of learning data science and the importance of investing effort-wise, time-wise, and money-wise to learn data science. Then in week 2, we learned about the business understanding, the first phase of the methodology, CRISP-DM methodology. And today we are going to move into phase number 2 of the CRISP-DM methodology, and that is data. So we are going to get the data, and of course, we are going to try to learn the quality of our data by simply looking into its statistical analysis, applying the statistical analysis, applying some data visualization, applying some EDA to simply help us make sense of our values, our numbers, and our data before we proceed to machine learning. So that is the plan. Why do we need to understand the data? It's very simple. It's because the machine learning in general is GAIGO, the concept called GAIGO. So that is machine learning. It's a GAIGO. It simply means for a machine learning, it simply means garbage in, garbage out. So means if you feed a good data into your machine learning modeling or into the model, of course you are going to get something meaningful. Otherwise, if you feed garbage, you are going to get a garbage. So we have to spend time understand the data first, understand its quality, how good it is for the modeling. To avoid the GAIGO, we need to spend time understand the data. So in phase number 1, in phase number 1, we talked about things to do, needs to be done to help us understand the business. So we talked about the objectives. So number 1, we need to understand the objectives of the project. Where what is the what the management are trying to accomplish. It could be one objective, it could be many objectives. And we learned how to frame the problem by simply extracting some interesting questions, diagnostic questions, predictive questions, prescriptive questions, and descriptive questions. Some interesting questions. We need to start with a bank of interesting questions, and we need to assess visibility of each and every interesting questions. If we were to investigate them, then of course we need to determine the business and measurement. How would you measure if a model is successful or a solution is successful? So these are some of the matrices that the business would provide at the early stage of your project to simply help us quantify the end result. And if we are doing a prediction, so we have to identify the target variable, and this target variable is not something that is in the database. So this is something that we have to extract, we have to create ourselves. So we could do it manually by going through all the cases that we have and determine which one was, if we were to work for our insurance, And if we want to create a target variable out of the historical data sets that we have, yes, question. Yeah, then yeah, if we are doing a prediction, we have to have a target variable in there. And for our insurance company that we worked for, if we don't have a target variable and the data depends on the questions we're trying to answer, depends on the business problem trying to investigate. What we have to do is we need to come with our own target variable. By simply one way we could design a script that could look through all the cases and identify the cases that were correctly approved or incorrectly approved in the past. It is one way we could audit by hiring a third party to audit our cases. There's a lot of ways that we could do to label our historical data as either correctly approved or incorrectly approved. Then we need to identify the analytical approach, and we talked about this in the previous sessions. There are four analytic approaches. Descriptive analytics, trying to answer questions in terms of what, where, when, etc. Diagnostic analytics, trying to answer questions like why something happened. Predictive analytics, trying to answer questions from the future, like what is the probability, what is the likelihood something is going to happen. And the prescriptive analytics, trying to answer the questions in the format of what is the optimal method to do a business. Okay, then we talked about the project, we talked about the stakeholders and the team. So as I mentioned, in regards to stakeholders, it is a critical component. We need to establish a strong relationship with our stakeholders. And we need to establish a channel of communication through which we can communicate them, update them, and the progress of the project. So we want to make sure that we are doing what we are supposed to do. Otherwise, we might end up doing something not desirable. So, and we talked about the team. You are gonna have a team. You have to work as a team, and in your team, you are gonna need people with at least four expertise: domain expertise, business expertise, experts, data scientists, and data expertise. And so, as a team, if we don't have a data yet as a team, we are gonna try to establish, to create our analytical base table, analytics base table. So this is a table, a pseudocode table of what we are gonna need as far as data is concerned. So let's say that you are working on auto insurance, you did everything possible, and at the end, we are going to think about what what type of data we are going to need. We could say we are going to need data demographics, we are going to need policy data, we are going to need finance data, we are going to need incident data, we are going to need client data, and of course we are going to need a target variable. That is simply a description, a table describing what we are going to need as far as the data is concerned. And in phase number one, we relied heavily on our domain and business expert. Okay, now we are going to move into phase number two. Then we'll be using our data expert expertise. So then we are going to get the ABT. We are going to transform it into a features. So in ABT, we could say we are going to need demographics. In the features, we are going to need age, marital status, medical record, number of kids, income, etc. So then we collect the data, and then we are going to install import packages, and we are going to read the data. So that is what we are going to do now. Then after we read the data, using R or Python or whatever application, then we are going to start applying some data manipulation, exploratory data analysis, data visualization, statistical analysis, and so we started with raw data, and towards the end of the data understanding, we should design a good quality report. A quality report is simply a technical summary of your data, in which could help us understand how good or how bad your data is. And we are going to use that quality report to determine the optimal transformation method to transform your data from a raw shape to a shape that is ready for analysis. So we are going to stop here, and let's assume that we understand the problem, and now we were able to design ABT, and we transformed the ABT into features. Then we collected the features, the data with the features from different servers, different resources in different format. So the problem the problem that we will be using, in the case study is going to be in a bank. So we are going to be using a bank data. Corporation bank provides loans to businesses across industries, vertical like education, real estate, and retail, logistics, mining, etc. The bank wishes to reduce the percentage of non-performing assets from its portfolio. That is the business problem. So we need to extract some questions, and we need to frame it. But let's assume that already been completed. So we were able to frame this problem, extract questions, and now give me the data. So that is what we are going to do. Any question, concern before we proceed with the data?
Quick question. Is the link for the meeting always the same link for
Yes,
all the
sir.
classes?
Yes, I mean, it might not be always the same, but for today, yes.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Questions, concerns, doubts about anything covered so far? Please speak up.
At what point is the target variable resolved or identified? I know it's basically during the first step, but when you're creating the ABD table, is the target variable already identified at that time, or is that basically being worked on after the ABD table is set up?
Your target, okay, that is, I was not recording, unfortunately. So as I said, to determine your target variable is going to be number one. It depends on the question you are trying to solve. Is it A or B, or how much, how many? So that is what drives the need of target variable. So you have a small data set let's say that you are working for a bank. You have a small data set. You got 6 million records. Actually, it's not a small data set. You got 6 million records. We got a lot of features in there. And as a data scientist, we start to first understand the as is state. In our case, we are losing clients to B states, reducing the loss by a certain percentage. Then business measurement is a value to measure the transition from one state to another. The entity is the unit of analysis we are trying to analyze. The target variable in our case is going to be is active or churn is A or B. and the measurement is the technical measurement we are going to use to measure how good the solution is. So in our case, we don't have a target variable. So we have to do is we are going to either do this systematically or manually or hire someone to do it for us. So we are going to go through all the 6 million records that we have in the historical data, and we are going to label them as either A means active. So client number one is still doing business with us. So let's give him or her A. Client number two, he's still working with us. Let's give him an A. Client number three, he's gone. He's gone. He's no longer doing business with us. So here's a C. And then client number four is C. Five is C, and we go through all our 6 million records. At the end, we are going to have a column with A's or C's, and we could transform that into zeros. A means active, we are going to give it a 0. A C, a churn, we are going to give it a 1. So this is how we designed a target variable, and this is what we are going to need to address this type of the questions. Any question, any concern, please speak up.
Is it manual process
Yes.
to define the this label?
It could be I mean, if you are in our insurance, if you want to label all your 6 million claims, I mean, it could be manual. So you have to go through one past incident one at a time to label it as either it was correctly approved or incorrectly approved. So you could hire you could create an audit team or hire a company that does specializing in auditing, and they will do the job for you.
Okay, but this is a prerequisite whether you do or we get it done, right? But that is the prerequisite for data science to start
No,
with,
it's
right?
not. If it's prerequisites, it depends on what you are trying to do. Depends on the questions that you're trying to analyze.
Sure.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions, concerns, please.
Brother Mosamak, this is Syed.
Welcome.
So I have a dumb question.
Sure.
So since this is a bank, anytime if I would close an account or if I decide not to have the mortgage loan, drop it off, they always have a question to extract from me. Okay, what's the reason? The reasons, they already have a predefined drop-down list, and that data is captured and that data is sent to the corporate office saying, okay, at a specific location, we lost these many clients because of these reasons. So how is that data, which is captured in real time from the customers leaving the bank, different from legacy record of 6 million record trying to solve similar issue about who is active and which are the churn customers and why? That's question number one. The second question is,
So, Sayed,
about.
let's address question number one first.
Okay.
Yes. I now some of the organizations, they are not to that level yet. They have never experienced this type of analytics, so they have to do it manually. But next time they want to do it, they learn from the previous mistake. So now they are going to put something in the system. The moment you decide to leave, they are going to capture the information. They are going to label you accordingly. The moment you leave, you will be labeled as a churn client. But before this happened, before they got into a problem where they need to analyze a problem like is A or B, they didn't have this systematically designed, so they have to do it manually. So that is the case. Some of the in some of the organizations, especially those that are providing some services. You purchase an article, you purchase something online, and you have a trial for 15 days trial or 10 days or a week. If you decide to cancel, then they will definitely ask you a question why. So they gather the information and they labeled you as churn. So they know, and so by towards the end of the week, they will get an information from probably 200,000 participants who tried the the trial version of Fiverr service, and 50% of them ended up paying and subscribe. 50% decide not to do it. So they get the data and they start analyzing to help them predict the likelihood a new client will remain active, and also the data being collected will help them understand the behavior of the client and trying to fix any discrepancies in the services provided, so to maximize the subscription rate. Okay, Sayed?
Yes, brother Mo.
Is that-
So real quick, second question. You mentioned about 6 million records, right? That's a lot of records. So in order to get the label and then transition the other column into zeros and ones, that is not a manual process, like me trying to enter it on the keyboard, right? That should be automated too.
It should be automated if you have a logic. So if you have 6 million claims, if you have a logic that you could design a script to loop through all the 6 million and label them as either fraudulent or legitimate, you could do it systematically. If let's say, for example, if the logic is, and you know it, if I claim that it's been if I claim that for any driver aged 20 and above, or no, aged between 19 and 20, if you know it, if a claim that comes from a driver 19 to 20, just label it as a zero. They are fraudulent, and otherwise label it as one. But for those type of businesses, it's really hard to have a logic. So we have to do it manually. Doesn't matter if you have 6 million or 60 million. If you want to learn, if you want to predict from the future, no, to predict the likelihood a claim is going to be fraudulent, we have to have a target variable. Do it the way you want. If you have some logics that you could embed in a script that you would run in the database and look through all the 6 million and label them accordingly, you could do it with one click. And it's really hard to come up with the logic. So your best option, the final option, or your best bet is to do it manually. There is nothing else you could do. Okay, say it.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work though. And
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. I mean, that is the price. If you are not putting a logic from the beginning, and that is the price what they hire you. They hire you because they want you to fix it. It's going to take a couple of months to finish the labeling, but you will do it. Yeah, you will.
okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
you're welcome. So the data that was given to us, as you can see, it's all in a format that probably you might not read. So it's a CSV file. It's in a CSV file with semicolon as a separator. And they believe we got here 45,000 records. So I have shared with you guys the code in the in the Dropbox. So please go ahead and start the open up the Jupyter notebook. Yeah, open up the Jupyter notebook and let's start from there. Okay, so this is a Jupyter notebook. Of course, Ed went over this. Ed went over this yesterday. So with to help us understand the business, I mean the data. Of course, the business will provide us with some generic data dictionary is simply a description of all the variables. So in the data set, we have age. We have age here. So the age is numeric. Then we got a job. Job type is categorically is an admin, a blue collar, entrepreneur, housemaid, management, retired, self-employed, etc. Marital, we got divorce, married, single, unknown. Education, we got all the education. So we got number 5, the default, housing, and the loan. Then we got the contact, the month, day of the week, duration. Then we got the campaign, the paydays, previous outcome, the previous outcome. Then we got some social economic context, employment variable rate, etc. And of course, we got the target variable. So this is target variable is not in the database, but something that we audited ourselves. So we got few information about the data. It's 41,000 variables, records. It's 20 input. Its data is from 2008, and it's 2 years. So we got some information here. So we got a lot of information and data. So we have to start with this, simply a basic information on the data. So the first thing we gotta do here is we are gonna import the packages. We are gonna import the packages into Jupyter Notebook. So we are gonna import NumPy and give it an alias. So this NumPy is used for numerical Python. If you want to do arithmetics, any calculation. Then we are going to import matplotlib. This is a package and we give it the PLT. PLT is a shortcut of matplotlib. That's what we are going to use to call this. Matplotlib is a library that used for data visualization. And we are going to import pandas and give it an alias, PD as an alias. So pandas is used for data analytics and data manipulation. We are going to import also the Seaborn. Seaborn is an advanced library that used on the top of Matplotlib. And if you Google it, Seaborn, yeah. So this is the website. I'm gonna share the link with you guys in the chat. Please go ahead and document. Fali, the data is provided in Dropbox, so go to home. Go to modules, and week number 3. Click on training materials. Click on the training materials. You are gonna see it's there. So Python code. Python code. You are gonna see all the. You are welcome. You are gonna see the code I'm using for the class, and you are gonna see a bunch of of data sets, and also you are gonna see the codes from yesterday's class. It's there.
Can you please put the link on this chat, because I just joined late.
There is no link. You have to go through your Canvas.
Oh, Canvas. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
You don't have. You are welcome, Munir. If you don't have access to Canvas, you got to see me, please. And I believe there are more than 300, almost 300 people signed for the program. But for a reason or another, I have more than 60 58 people have not accepted the invite yet. And some of them, you might need to change your name if you are planning to get the certificate. The certificate will be sent under this. So you might need to check and fix your name. If there is a typo in there, go ahead and fix your name, because that is what we are going to assign a certificate to if you were to purchase the certificate. So I'm going to do resend. So please go ahead and check your email. If you don't have access to Canvas yet, check your email and accept the invite. And if you don't get an invite, then you have to see me. Okay? So talking about
One question here.
yes.
I was trying to recall how did you open this actually, the file into
Furkan, so all we have to do, depends on how you open. I'm going to close. I'm going to close everything. Yeah, I'm going to close everything here. Okay, and now I'm going to fire my Jupyter notebook, click on the Anaconda prompt, and I'm going to type in GUPYTR notebook. Okay.
Yeah, I opened this
Now
application, but I was not able to
now
browse.
I have to navigate through my folders, get the file. So my file is under OneDrive, desktop, and BBDS, data science journey, programs, the mini program, data science for Go 21, and week number this one.
3.
Okay, so here is the deal, everybody. You got to take the training serious, because we really put a lot of effort, and we have an American professor. He's volunteering his time to train us, so we really need to take an advantage of that by putting an effort, going through the recording, and just going through the recording, taking notes, and schedule a one-to-one session if you need help with anything. As a matter of fact, I have my channel. You are going to see all the previous recording, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to host all the recording in this channel. So I'm going to share this with you one more time. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and go through. If you are unable to open your Jupyter notebook, you are not doing your job. You are not putting effort. So if you are not able to open your Jupyter notebook, we already covered it more than a time. It simply means, and excuse my language, you are a lazy person. You have to put an effort. Please go through the recording and take a notes, learn how to open a Jupyter notebook, do some research online. If you are still struggling with it, you have to schedule a one-to-one session. And I'm going to give you my Calendly. And I'm not supposed to do this, but of course, you are my students. I want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. So I'm going to share this link with you guys. Please go ahead and schedule a one-to-one session. I will be more than happy to address any concern, any doubt, any question that you might have. Okay? Hisham, I got an error. Now I have the file opened. No.
Brother Mo, one.
Sure.
So I have extracted from week number 3 the file, like you said, it's called Python codes. So under Python codes, I have CSV files. So which one am I supposed to open in the Jupyter?
No, just it's already there. Bank additional fold. That is, it's already there. You don't have to, the codes are already there. So I'm going to run this. I'm going to import my packages. As I said, NumPy for numerical Python, Matplotlib for data visualization, Pandas for data manipulation, and I am going to for now, I'm gonna comment line number 6 and line number 7, and I'm gonna show you why. So, but Seaborn is an advanced data visualization, the package or library used for data visualization. It's built on the top of Matplotlib. So this is their website. If you click on gallery, you can see a lot of beautiful, chart and graphs that you could use for your analysis. Just pick one, and take the codes. Copy the codes. Go to your Jupyter notebook. Create a cell and paste the codes. Run it. It really should work. And all I have to do is simply change the parameters to reflect your data. Change your parameters to reflect your data. So this is a beautiful graph, probably describing a phenomenon. All I have to do is go to the website, choose the graph that you want, and of course we are going to talk about this later. If you want to use, for example, heat map for correlation analysis, you could use scatter plot for the determining the magnitude of relationship between two variables. You could use, histogram for continuous variables. You could use a violin, which simply a combination of box plot and the density plot of a variable. You could use a lot of. You could use a line plot. There's a lot of plots here. Depends on your need. All we have to do is copy the codes and try to change the variables to reflect your variables. Run it, see if it works. That is a Seaborn. It's an sophisticated, it's more advanced, and it's built on the top of the Matplotlib. So I'm going to cancel this, and now let's read the data.
Brother Mo, sorry to interrupt you. We can also open the same thing in on Anaconda, right?
Yeah, this is Anaconda, brother.
I see the Jupyter here.
Yes.
Bank loan application data understanding.
Yeah. When you download the Anaconda.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
We have the Jupyter. When you click on Jupyter launch, it will open the Jupyter launch.
So
okay.
Yeah, Anaconda is a platform they used. It does support more than, I believe, 57 programming languages. So when you download it for the first time, it's got loaded with IPython or Python kernel. And if you were to, you could use it with any other programming. So if you click on new, you are going to see only Python. But for me, I see Python, I see R. I could add any other programming languages. But all you need to do is you need to install a kernel of whatever language you want to add. So I installed the R kernel, and now we have R. So if I want to start an R codes, it's in the same Jupyter notebook, but it's different. So it's different. So if I were to start a Python, we are going to have the Python logo in there, and it says Python 3, and for the R, it's R in there. So anyway, I imported the packages. I maximized the column numbers because I want to see all my columns. If you did not maximize the column, this is what's going to happen. Let me repeat the process. I'm going to import the packages. Okay, and I'm going to import my data. And if you have more, unfortunately, it doesn't remember this option here. Otherwise, you are going to see some dots. You are not going to see all the columns. You are going to see the last 10 columns, and I believe the first 10 columns and the last 10 columns, and you are going to see some dots in there. So you are going to see everything. So to maximize, if you want to see all your columns, you need to maximize the display of the column. Okay, so this is our data. We started with this this dirty, nasty file, and now our data is readable. We got age, we got job, we got marital status, education. Always consult with the dictionary. We got the age is numeric, job is the type of the jobs that these people have. Marital status is married, divorced, etc. Marital status is divorced, married, single, etc. And now what we gotta do here is, I mean, sometimes, especially when you are working with a large data set, you could have something, a typo, and in the columns. You could have a typo, you could have a space, you could have some variables, they are uppercase, lowercase, and you could have a special character. So to avoid having any problems later in the future, all we have to do is probably we need to standardize the naming. We need to standardize this naming by simply lowercase everything, remove any special characters. If you have a dash in there, we have to remove it. Otherwise, you are going to create it will create a lot of problems. Let's take a look. What do we have here? So yeah, we got some variables here that we really need to fix. Okay, so we got here amp dot var dot rate. So I really wants to use the underscore instead. So we got here or 3. If you want to change the value of 3 to underscore, you could do that. We got the dot, and we got the y, the target variable. So that is what we're gonna do here. We are gonna strip all these column names. Let's take a look into the column names. So this is all the column names. So we are going to strip them all and now go through them one at a time and look for a space, replace it with underscore. Look for a dash, hash, dash, replace it with underscore. Special character, punctuation, replace it with underscore. So I'm going to run this. And now let's take a look into the columns one more time. And so now we got, before we got nr employed, and now we got before we got nr dot employed, and now it's nr underscore employed. So this is more friendly naming conventions compared to this one. This one could create some problems later, and definitely we don't want to do that. So we want to control it. Okay, and a few generic functions. That we could apply to simply help us understand the data. From the analytic standpoint, using the crisp DM. Using the crisp DM. We need to, so we will able to read the data, and now we need to apply some data manipulation, ADA, data visualization, and statistical analysis. We could do all these 3 together, or do it step by step. Okay, so the head function will display the first 5 elements. The head function will display the first 5 elements of your data. So you got starting from 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, that is 5. And if you were to override, this is the default. The default is 5 first element. If you were to override it, let's say you want 10 variables instead, 10 records instead of 5, you are going to simply pass in a value to the head function. And here we go. We got now 0 to 9. Sometimes this head function comes with if you put the cursor. If you put the cursor at the end of the method and simply do shift tab twice, you are going to get all the documentation for that specific method. So we got here, let's say this function returns the first n rows of the object based on the position. It is useful for quickly testing if your object has the right type of the data in it. So that is what this head function is all about. The opposite of head function is the tail function. The tail function will display the last 6 elements. That is what this okay, tail will display the last we got 41,000, 87, 86, 85, 84. So this is the last 5 elements of your data.
Furthermore, sorry to interrupt you. Can you please put the file bank additional full.csv into the current location so that we can download the same and practice parallelly along with you?
Why we want you guys to put some effort. So now,
brother,
yes.
So you uploaded the file bank loan application data understanding. So I uploaded the same thing in the Jupyter notebook, but I still cannot see this data like when I'm trying to run it.
Okay, who's talking? Sorry, who's talking? Yeah, okay. The beta is there. I'm gonna make you a presenter, and go ahead and share your screen, please. Yes, I see your screen.
So this is what I uploaded in Jupyter notebook, right? Like you upload this file.
Okay.
And then this is where you said like we have to import NumPy as NP and just run this cell.
Yeah, run it. Run it again.
So when I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So when I'm trying to run this cell, this is the error I'm getting.
Yeah, just go ahead and run it.
No, there's a mistake there. She needs to comment out the line after import CBORD.
Line number, correct.
Yes. Yeah. Do for just please hold on. Type do escape L for me.
Escape L.
Escape L for me.
What's an escape L? I don't know.
Escape is a button all the way at the upper left corner of your window of your keyboard. Using the here we go. So go ahead and comment line number 12.
Okay.
Remove the comment. Remove the hash sign. Okay, run it now. Here we go. And now go ahead and run. Do run. Click on run. Just click on run again.
Okay.
Click again. Yeah. Click one more time. Click one more time. So scroll all the way down. Yeah, let's see the error.
It listed the error file not found. She has to put that into her home directory.
Yeah. So show me the folder where you have this bank loan application data understanding. Where do you have that? Now show me your desktop. Show me where you have.
Here.
So there is no data in there. So go ahead.
Okay, so I have to download this file as well on the same bank additional full.csv.
Show me your Dropbox. Show me the Dropbox, please. And you need to download everything. Simply click on the right upper corner of the Dropbox and click on direct download. Yeah, click on direct download. This is you download in one file at a time. Click on download at the bottom. No, here we go, and click on direct download. And you have to have the codes and the data in the same folder, or you need to find the URL or the location. You need to get the location of your data. Okay, and now it's downloaded as a zipped folder. You need to unzip it.
Click on week 3. If you go to week 3 and click it and download the whole files, not only one. Click on week 3 to go back. No, click on week 3 to go back. One folder. Yep. Okay. So now go to download and click download. So now you have two folders. You have to extract both folders and open the file from the folder.
Okay, Zubaida, if it does not work for you, you got to see me after the class. Okay.
Just make sure you unzip this. That's it.
Yeah.
It will extract all the files in the same folder.
Just unzip it, and you should be good to go. Thank you guys for helping. I appreciate that, and I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, let's go back to my screen. I believe we have more minutes to drive. Okay, so we were able to check our data using the head function and the tail function. And as I said, head function displays the 5 elements of your data. The tail functions displays the last 5 elements of your data. And we have here a target variable, the y. So we have a y here, but the y is not a good naming. So we might need to rename the y. So we are going to give it, you might need to rename this as a target variable or something. So that is what we are going to do here. Now we are going to rename. We are going to rename the target variable.
In Excel document, if instead of y, if it was term underscore deposit, then we don't have to rename. Am I right?
Yes, I mean, but
for our understanding, we have mentioned earlier y, and then now we are using the function rename in order to rename the target variable.
That is true.
Is my understanding correct? Okay, thank you.
So rename the target variable, and now using the rename function, and again, if you do shift tab twice, you are going to get all the parameters: rename, mapper, index, column. So we are going to use the column here. So rename a column y with what? With the term deposit, and we want to rename and the same. We are going to in place equal true means rename, override the existing name. So we are going to do the renaming and the objects that we start our data. So we start our data in an object called bank apps. So that is what we are going to do here. I'm going to run this. And if I were to run a head function again, my target variable has been termed, has been renamed to term deposit. So that is why we're trying to predict. So after we learn from this 45, we are going to apply machine learning layer on this 45 records, 45,000. Let's say that if Amin if Amin is my client and he just signed up for, he just created an account and he's been doing some business with us. So if I were to to predict if Amin will subscribe with a term deposit or something, then we need to go through the 45,000 historical data and get the mathematical functions that represents the relationship between all these variables, and test that mathematical function, which we really don't care because the model will handle it for us, and test the quality, how good that function is once we apply it on the 45,000 variables. If we are happy with the performance of the functions, then now we are going to apply it to Amin's case. And within a click, we are going to get a score. Either no, Amin is no, or is no, or yes. Okay, shape function will provide us the number of columns and number of rows at the same time. So this will tell us how much data that we have, 41,188 clients, and we got 24 information about these clients, 24. So we got information about their age, about their job, marital status, etc. Okay, and I'm gonna talk about two generic functions. These two generic functions will definitely provide you with a lot of information in regards of the type of the data and structure of the data that you have. The first generic functions is called info. I believe it stands for information. Shift tab twice. Shift tab twice. You are gonna get the parameters, the docstring, print a concise summary of a data frame. This method prints information. That's why it's called information about data frame, including the index type and the column, non-null value, and memory usage, etc. So these are all the parameters that you can pass into it. So we are not gonna pass any parameter, simply the default one. So we are gonna do bank apps. This is the object where we start our bank 23,000 records, and we are gonna apply the info.
Brother Mo, how do you show the information detail again? You said space.
Yeah, no, it's a shift tab. If you are using Windows, I don't know about that.
I'm using Mac.
So do we have any Mac person here? How do you guys do it using the Mac? I don't know.
It's the same.
Yeah, try the same,
Okay, shift and what?
Tab.
Option. Shift and option.
Press and hold the shift key and then press the tab button twice.
Thank you, Vikar. Got it?
Yeah, I just need two spaces, that's all.
Okay.
Do I need to select the command? Or I don't need to select that.
No, just put the cursor at the end of the word.
From the keypad, press the shift and hold the shift and press tab 2 times. Press hold the shift and press tab 2 times.
Yeah, I just get two spaces, that's all.
Okay, thank you guys for supporting. Yeah, please go ahead and mute yourself. Unless you have a question, please go ahead and mute yourself. Amin, Faisal, please go ahead and mute yourself. Faisal, go ahead and mute yourself, please. Anyway, so the info, this is what this info function will do. It will give us, the value of, records and total columns and column names. So we got all the values in there. You should have the same value or less than the number of records. If you got any value that does not is less than a record, that simply means you have a missing value. So, for example, in age, if you have 41,180, means you got 8 records missing age. Someone out there, they don't have their ages. Okay, and you got objects. You got here the data type. This is very important. Objects means a character or factor. Simply, when you see an object here, it simply means you have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. So we have to transform this categorical into numeric layer. Most of the algorithms, an algorithm is simply a mathematical function. Okay, Faisal will come back, but please go ahead and mute yourself. Thank you, sir. So we have to, most of the models that we are going to learn few of them later, is simply a mathematical function. It's a math behind the scene. And this mathematical function, they love to handle numerics versus categorical. Some algorithms like non-algebraic algorithms like decision tree, random forest, bagging, boosting, family, this is the tree family algorithms. They really don't care if your data is numeric or categorical. They are designed to handle both. But most other algorithms, you have to transform your data from categorical into numeric, and we are going to learn that. So the moment you see objects, it means simply that we have to transform them. If we were to use them, we don't know yet. If we were to use job column, and we'll figure out how to determine if a variable should be included or excluded. We are going to learn that. If we were to use a variable, and if it's categorical, we have to transform it into numeric. Okay, so this is all the information we got. At least now we start the process of our understanding our data. So now we start understanding the data. We are building a relationship with our data. We start
41188 is a number of rows, right?
Yeah.
If you go back, 41188, it is number of rows.
Yes, it's confirming
Bankgraphs.shape. Yeah,
that is true.
And 21 number of columns. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, sometimes this info will give you a piece of information in regards of missing values. If you see any value here less than 41188, less than 41188, that is simply an indicator that you have a missing values in that column. And you could do it. Open up a folder, your data, and go to age and remove remove this 47. Remove it, read your data. You are going to see in the age, you are going to see 41187. Okay. So another method that comes handy, will provide you a lot of information in terms of a statistical summary, is called the describe function. So I'm going to run it, and the describe function will provide you the statistical summary of all your numerical variables. So it works only with numerical values. So it's also work for categorical, but you have to add the parameters. So it provides you the count, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, the first quartile, the mean, the third quartile, and the max. So this is what this describe function does. For age, for example, we got the minimum is 17. So we got someone with 17 years old, and the max, we got someone who is 90 years old. So 17, and this the quartiles is the distribution of the data. How much data that we have in the first 25, in the 50s, and in the 75%. And it is your responsibility as a data scientist or data analyst to go through every single variable one at a time to make sure that they do make sense statistically. So like if you are working for an auto insurance company, for example, and you have the age as a variable, and the minimum age that you got is, let's say, 4. You got a 4 in there. So definitely this should raise a flag, because we don't think that there is any driver, since we are doing an auto insurance, and so there is not a driver on the face of the planet that should be 4 years old, licensed driver. So there must be a flag, there must be an error, there must be something that does not click on the data. This is how important this describe function does. And describe function only works for numerical values.
Is it a standard function, or we can also add like median and mode also and get that information here?
No, there's other methods to do it. I think this is standard.
Okay.
Okay, so if you don't like the layout, if you don't like the way you display the information,
Brother Mo, one question since you're there. The 25%, 50, 75, that's the mean, right?
no, this is the first quartile. If you were to visualize this later, we are going to do apply box plot. So this is the box plot. Okay, and of course we are going to get this is 50%, this is 75% of your data, this is 25%, and we are going to have a max whisker, and we are going to have a minimum whisker, and anything that leaves 1.5 times the minimum and maximum is going to be an outlier. Is going to be an outlier. Okay, so this is a quartile. So we divided our data, our age, into four quarters. So this is 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now we want to position how much data out of these 41,000 of ages being between the minimum whisker and 25%. How much data we have 25%, 50%, how much data do we have in between 50% and 75%, and 75% a maximum whisker.
Yeah, but brother, like, so if I say 25%, like which 25%? Like the first chunk, the second chunk, the third chunk, or the fourth chunk? That's what I'm...
This is 25%. So 25%, 32, from age 17, from age 17 to 23 age, consists of 25% of your entire data set. So 25% of my 41,000, 25% of my 41,000 records, they have age between 17 and 32.
Oh, okay. Thank you, bro.
50% of my entire 41,000 they have age between 17 and 38. 75% is from 17 to 47.
Got it. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. Okay, and if you don't like the layout, if you don't like, sometimes the way you present your information is critical. Simply add a dot, capital T, run it again, and this is going to switch. So the columns will be in the row side, and the side will be the rows will be will become columns, and columns will be switched to the rows. Run that, and it's the same information. I love this. This is a better display compared to this one. This one is better. So now we got count, columns, rows being transformed. It's simply the switch. So here we go. So we got the count again. We got 41. So we don't have any missing values for this numeric, and we got the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum, the maximum, and the quartiles. Age, so we got 17 as the minimum, and the maximum is 98. Okay, and you need to go through any of these variables. If you find any value that does not make sense to you as data analyst, before you make a decision on what to do about it, you might need to double check with your team. And if you guys remember, in the team, you are going to have the main expert, you are going to have data expert, you are going to have you and developer, And of course, this is managed by a project manager. So always go to your domain expert or a business expert and data expert. If we have a 4 here, if you have a 4, it could be a real value, but it's always go, consult with your team before you determine what to do about it. Don't make a stupid, take a stupid action by simply eliminating or deleting something because it does not make sense to you. You never know. It could be a real value. It could have some critical information that you are going to need for your analysis, and accidentally you removed it, because simply, not accidentally, you removed it because you feel like you don't like it. So that is why we really need, this Slack is really okay.
So this describe function does all the numeric columns by default, right? So if you want,
Yes.
we can select specific columns also.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do that shortly. So you could do a T or you could do a transpose. Transpose, I think I already have it in there. You could do capital T or transpose function, we do the same. Okay. And if you were, and as I said, by default, the describe works only for numerics data, and it provides us with the 5-number summary. So these are called 5-number summary, and the father, John Tukey is a statistician at Bell Labs. He's the father of discovered this 5-number summary. So the 5-number summary is the minimum 1, the first quartile 2, the mean 3, the 75% 3, 4, and the max. Of course, you are going to get other, but this is the 5-number summary of your data. So if you were to use the describe for categorical, so we need to add a parameter. It's called, you could add a parameter to apply description on non-numeric. And now we are going to add a parameter to include objects, Boolean, and characters, and anything else. So let's run this. Yeah, we are going to get a description, statistical description, but not the 5-number summary, because the 5-number summary only applies for numerical data. For non-numerical data, you are going to get the frequency. Yeah, you are going to get frequency. So, for example, jobs, we got 41,088 records, and we have here 12 unique. And the top job is admin, and we got 10,422 records with admin as a job. Marital, we got 4 unique, and we got 24,000 married. Education, we got 8, and the university degrees, we got 12,000 participant or client, they have university degree. Yeah, default housing, we have 3, and we got 21,000 out of 41,000 they have a house. Contact, we got 2, either email or phone, and we got 26,000 they prefer the phone. And of course other categorical, they have the unique, they have the top, and they have the value of the top. Okay.
So, brother, we focus on the top because that's the category that we want to make decision based on, right?
What do you mean?
So the top means the majority, right?
Yes, I mean, and that does not mean you are going to focus on that. Simply here we are getting trying to understand our data. We are not making any decision at this point of time, and we are not going to make any decision soon.
Okay.
Okay, Joe, let me see. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Yeah, Joe just shared this with us. Yeah, describe include all. Yeah, that's true. But you are going to get an NA because NA, education level, we are trying to apply the 5-number summary, and because it's numeric, we are going to get a lot of NAs, and of course we don't want to do that. Yeah, but this is a function that you could use if you want to include both the information on numeric values and information on categorical values. Okay, so now let's take a look into our target variable. Let's take a look into our target variable. And so the target variable, this is what we're trying to analyze. So we are going to apply the value count. We want to see how many targets, we want to see the type of target variable that we have. So bank, term deposit, so the brackets here means a subset. So we are telling the system, give me a subset of the object, of the data starting object, and the subset I only need the term deposit. And what I want you to count how many terms deposit that we have based on yes or no. So here we go. So we got here 36,548 they are no, and 4,640 they are yes. So it could be a problem, but because when we visualize this, you are going to see something like this. So this is a no, and this is a yes. And this could be a problem later, and I will explain why. Okay, so now we got no's and no and yes. So probably what we could do is we need to transform this no and yes into 1 for no and yes, no, 1 for yes and 0 for no, or vice versa. Okay, if you want to transform these values here into a percentage, we are going to normalize it. We are going to simply add normalize equal true, and now we are going to get a percentage. So we got 88%, 89% of the entire population, entire records in this sample, they have a no. In 11%, they have a yes. Now we are going to visualize it. And here we go. We got a lot of no's and a lot of yes. And what we are doing here in the visualization, we are using matplotlib. We are going to use matplotlib. If you were to use a better visualization, we could use Seaborn. We could use this, the Seaborn package rather instead of the matplotlib. But there is one function that comes handy. That even though you have your codes in matplotlib, PLT means matplotlib. If you want to borrow some functionalities, from the Seaborn, all what you have to do is we are going to import the Seaborn, and we are going to set the Seaborn as the default. So I'm going to now go to the first cell where we imported the packages, and I'm going to uncomment number 6 and 7. So I'm going to, import Seaborn and give it alias, and I'm going to do SNS set. Simply make the Seaborn as default. We are still going to use matplotlib codes, but we are going to we are going to use the Seaborn as the umbrella. So I'm going to run this, and now I'm going to run my graph on the target variable, and we want to compare. So this is matplotlib. This is matplotlib, and let me run the if I run this one more time, even though it's matplotlib codes, it is going to borrow some beauty from the seaboard. So now you see difference. That is a difference, and of course you see the difference clearly once we get into some complex graphs and plots. So it's the same matplotlib, but it's borrowing some structure from the seaboard. Okay. And now I really don't like the nose and the s. So what we have to do here, as I'm going to use a numpy function, it's called where. So I'm going to overriding my target variable with another target variable that has a value. If yes, I'm going to give it a 1. I'm going to replace yes. Now replace yes with 1, otherwise just put a 0. So I'm going to run this, and now let's go to count one more time. I'm going to simply copy paste the codes just to make sure that the function works. And I got 36,000, the same values I got in here. And before I got the nose and yes, and now I got 0 and 1. And let's visualize it one more time, and we got 0s and 1. So the reason why I said sometimes this type of distribution of the target variable might be a problem. Why is that? So let's assume you are working. Let's assume that you are working on. So we have. Let's talk about the COVID-19 vaccine. So we have a drug that's been launched and it's been distributed globally. So we want to analyze the effect of that new vaccine, and out of all the cases that have been distributed, this is what we got. So we got something like this. Okay, so we got two targets. Now we are trying to determine if this vaccine has a side effect. So we vaccinated 1 million patients globally, and we have their data, and we got something like this. Okay, and out of that 1 million, 99% of the vaccine patients or the participant, they don't have any side effect, and 0.01 they have a side effect. And we have another 5 million participant to vaccine to shot or to provide the vaccine. So if we were to predict if any person out of that 2 or 3 million remaining that needs to be vaccinated, of course, if you were to apply a model, the model always going to be biased towards the majority. The model always will give you an accuracy at 99.99. The model always going to give you an accuracy towards as 99.99, and that is the problem. So the model will not be accurate, say 9.99 and 0. I believe 0.01. So this is considered imbalanced target variable. So to learn from it, we have to balance it using either under sampling or oversampling and I believe there is another is called SMOTH. I believe SMOTH. No, TE. I believe it's the. Let me Google it. Yeah, SMOTH. Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, for imbalance. Yeah. I'm gonna share this with you. This is not a good article. That this this is an article. Sorry guys, I need to send it to everybody. Here we go. So we need to balance. Yeah. This I mean the balancing comes handy. It's a requirement. Depends on the sensitivity of the program of the project. If you are working on a churn, I think this should be fine. If you are working on a rare incident, rare event or incident, rare case, then we really need to balance it. Otherwise, your model always will be biased, regardless of how good the model is. It's always will return 99%, 99 accuracy, which is wrong. Okay, so looking into our target variable, we could live with it at this point of time. So there is no nothing we can do. But of course, as I said, it depends on the sensitivity of the project you are working on. You might need to balance it. So then we are going to move into data visualization, which we are going to cover next week, inshallah. So let's stop here and let's see if you guys have any question, any concern, any doubt that you want me to address before I dismiss you for today. Questions, concerns, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Well,
One quick question. This analysis of the data by understanding how different libraries like NumPy or Pandas work, would that be good enough for us to understand any specific data sets going through this exercise, or do you think we also need some kind of domain knowledge?
If you look into the ultimate plan that I shared with you a couple of weeks ago, to really benefit to become a superhero data scientist, you have to have some domain knowledge. If you don't, you could build it. Now, if you are working in healthcare, just stay in the healthcare, add analytics into it. Sales, finance, management, accounting, then we are going to learn R or Python. Then you need to learn you need to know some mathematics, math, statistics, probability to help you make sense of different measurement of your data. Then you need to learn the lingo, and of course you need to have some projects in there. So
Right.
now in Python only, unfortunately, is not going to make you a data scientist.
Right. Yeah, that's what I thought, is that some kind of domain that we need to focus on.
Yeah, and this domain knowledge comes handy with the practice. Read as much as you can.
Correct.
That is how I learned. Okay,
Thank you.
three and a year from now, 2 years from now, if you keep learning with the same level, you are gonna see a lot of change in your with your experience and knowledge.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mo, do you know a good reference or a good cheat sheet for all the things to look at or look for when you're looking at the 5-number summary? I've never found a good one.
I have no, I do actually, I do. So
It was a very interesting session, Mo, and much appreciated.
Yeah, welcome. Yes, you are going to learn. I mean, the more we dive deep into this, the more excitement you are going to get. And I promise you, after the program, you are going to definitely, your mentality towards the data will change for good. So that is your jump start to invest in learning data science.
If you could please drop into the Dropbox for the cheat sheets and books, that would be great.
No worries, I will do that.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, folks, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please share it with your friends. Help us, spread the word. Share our experience, our humble experience, humble knowledge in the field with the community. And I have a lot of videos in Arabic. If you have a problem with English, back home, I designed this for my Arabic community because I see there is a lot of need in there, and unfortunately, I have to translate a lot of terminologies, a lot of things from English to back to Arabic, and it's time consuming. And there is another one that I really want you. This is his first, his learning Python with Ed. And as a matter of fact, we have a Python for kids. It's 1 year, once a week, 1 year free Python. And this is how my son learned Python with Professor Edward. So we'll train you for free. We'll train your kids for free. All what we need from you as a token of appreciation is simply support us. Okay? Thank you.
So what should be the minimum age if a kid wants to go for a Python
It's
course?
from 6 to 14, but now we are in month number 8. If you want to join that program, still welcome, but you have to help your kids bring them up to speed, or you have to wait until next batch, which is going to start in July.
Okay. I'll ping you separately
Sure, yes, yeah.
in order to get the link and the details.
Sure.
Thank you, Mo. Thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
everybody. You are welcome. Thank you, everybody. Hope you guys
Thank you
have
very
a
much.
great weekend. I'll talk to you on next week. Until then, bye, everybody. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum.